It's Moppy time.
Hey guys, so today I'm doing something a bit different, a review, or a highlight I guess you could call it, for 3 workshop maps in Killing Floor 2. The first map is called KF dash, I guess, Bikini Atoll, and it is a map of Bikini Bottom from Spongebob. The visuals of the map are very good. It fits the art style of SpongeBob, but it still makes it like physically dark enough to fit the game, which links into the gameplay, which I'll talk about later. The map also features many iconic areas from the cartoon. There is the Krusty Krab, the Chum Bucket, the Flying Dutchman, Mrs. Puff's boating school, and other just like iconic little sub areas. Although it should be noted that they have changed the names of some of these areas, presumably for copyright purposes, or it may be references to individual episodes that I have not seen. For example, the Chum Bucket is actually called the Munch Bucket. Speaking of references to episodes, it is full of what I assume to be references, although I haven't seen enough of SpongeBob to know for certain. For example, there is a giant bomb similar to the one in Megaton in Fallout 3, which is just there. I'm not really sure what it's all about because I haven't seen an episode with that in, but yeah, it's there. There's also a lot of fish hooks coming out of the sky. Not really sure what that's about either. If you're a fan of minor details, the map has you covered, as there are plenty around. For example, you can actually read the menus in both the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket, although the texture isn't the best of quality, so you may struggle to do so. It is my belief that for a map to work well with the gameplay, you need it to be not too open and at the same time not too confined. Because if it's too open, it's too easy, you can just kill all of the zombies before they come anywhere near you. If it's too confined, then when you get to the boss wave especially, you're just going to get stuck in a corner and mashed. So it's important for the map to have a good balance between the two, preferably with some cover to give them a chance against the bosses, but also to give the zombies a chance against the players. I think that this map gets that balance and completely nails it. I think it may have slight issues for the zombies. It might be slightly tilted towards the survivors team, but I think that's what you want. If it's got to be unfair, it should be unfair to the zombies, in my opinion. During my experience of this map, I have actually encountered 0 glitches, although that's not to say there aren't any, but you know, I do try a bit to try and induce glitches to happen, and none on this map, so that's top marks for me on that aspect. Miscellaneous points. The trader pods are now little jellyfishing racks, which I'm a fan of. I always like it when they spice up the trader pods, especially to fit the theme of the map. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this map. On to the next one. This map is called KFBS Old West B7. It is created by Rock Max. It's a Wild West town kind of map. As previously stated, yeah, the map is set in a Wild West style town with many buildings. There is a hotel, there's like some coffins, which I like, it's a nice touch. There is a general store with a huge moose head. No moose is that big. There is a gun shop with some big revolvers on it. The saloon though is where pretty much everything kicks off. If you think you're playing this map, I would recommend having the saloon as your main hold-down point. There's also a blacksmith with some little furnaces in. It's kind of empty though. And there's this other mystery building you can go in with literally nothing inside. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Sadly, this map I think does have a few gameplay issues because of how open it is, and also because of how bright it is. It makes it very easy for the humans to eliminate pretty much all the zombies without it becoming much of a threat, which is a shame. However, if you do go inside the Grand Hotel, which you probably should never do unless you've got to go there to buy some equipment, that is the only time where it might get a bit hairy, I would say, because I think they have a lot of spawns in there, because there seemed to be a lot coming out of many directions when I did it a couple of times. But yeah, apart from that, you know, just stay in the street or go inside the saloon. Like I said, you can go upstairs and then shoot them as they're like coming up the stairs. There's this long straight area where you can get loads of easy headshots on them. Yeah, it's just a bit too easy. Although the boss wave can be a bit more challenging because there's no cover for you. So like, if you're up against Volta with his like submachine gun attack, you will take a lot of damage. So onto the miscellaneous points and glitches. There is a invisible wall. There's actually quite a few invisible walls. The boundaries of the map, because obviously it can't go on forever, which is, I'm not really sure if that should be, if that counts as a glitch or not really, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. Also, inside of the weapon shop, there are lots of weapons from the games, like on the walls and counters, which I do like. However, they're not all like Western weapons. There's like flamethrowers and assault rifles and stuff. Not really a complaint, just thought it should be mentioned. One thing I do really like is the windows in the saloon and also on the hotel can be broken, like the window bars and stuff, which is quite nice. Although, the strange thing is, even once they are completely broken, you cannot jump out of the window, which is strange. At the building with absolutely nothing inside, if you are right up against the wall, for some reason you can actually see through the wall. Might be an issue with the game's engine more than the map's fault, but yeah, maybe the wall's just a bit thin or something. Throughout the entire time on the map, it will be playing Western music from like films and stuff, which is nice, but for whatever reason it doesn't get turned down when you turn down the master volume. Also, it might be copyrighted, so I won't have any examples. My main concern though is that if you can get onto part of the roof of the saloon, but the zombies don't know how to get there, you have to use like some fancy jumps and stuff. I'm not sure if I actually show it in this video, but yeah, the zombies can't get there, so you can just go up there and shoot them and they can't get to you, which is, yeah, just thought it should be mentioned. The next map and final map we're going to be looking at in today's episode is called Hangman's Bridge by Drunky Monkey. It is a big bridge, as you may have guessed from the title, which is being attacked by a Kraken, which is very interesting. I think it might be based off of some film which I haven't seen or heard of. But yeah, let's get right to it. So I do really love a map that tells a story, and that is exactly what this map does. Yeah, there's a big bridge filled with crashed cars, loads of corpses and stuff, signs of a struggle, and then there's big towers. It's like a tower bridge, right? And if you go up inside one of the towers, it's been like, there's like a big sea monster inside the tower. There's like big suckers coming out of the walls, and they have like the weird purple tendril thing from Black Forest coming out of the suckers. So it's like, not only is this a horrible sea monster, but it's been somehow infected by Horsine as well. That's what I like to think is happening. And then further up, there's actually the mouth of this monster, and also some more tentacles and stuff. And if you touch the mouth, it does actually hurt you. And if you have no armor, it'll do the bile thing all over your screen and poison you and stuff, which is, well, I wouldn't say it's nice from a game perspective, but it is nice from a design perspective. There's also this tower with a woman on it, like an NPC kind of woman, and she is constantly shouting at you if you're near her, and the audio is pretty bad quality, and that I don't like. I guess this could have gone in miscellaneous, but it's kind of a visual as well. And also at certain times you can see sea monsters like jumping out of the ocean and going back in, as well as obviously the huge Kraken attacking a boat in the distance with an animated lighthouse. It's very nice. The visuals are very well done. In fact, I'd say it's the main part of the map. Although overall I think the Spongebob map had the best gameplay, this one wins the award for the most unique aspects of gameplay, if that even makes sense. It has a lot of interactive features on the map, some of which I've never seen the likes in other official or community maps. We'll start with the most basic and then work up to the most interesting, shall we? There is a electrified portion of fence which hurts you if you go near it. Simple, but you know, spices it up a bit, doesn't it? When you climb to the top of the tower, right, there are two arrows, animated arrows I should mention, that are pointing. One is pointing down, the other is pointing across on like this little ramp section with a wire above it. If you look down at the arrow pointing down, you'll see at the bottom of the huge tower, which you're at the top of, there is a big pile of mattresses. If you jump off and land on the mattresses, you take no fall damage, which is very fun to say the least. Bit of a leap of faith though, because when I first did it I had no way of knowing if I was just going to splat or not. The other arrow, if you take it, is actually a zip line. It plays a little audio thing if you're going down a zip line, and you follow the wire down to this other part of the map, which, although fun and useful, I do think it's kind of overpowered because you are now very far away from whatever Zeds were chasing you, and if you're playing as like the commander or the sharpshooter, you can easily take them out before they get to you again. This works very well with bosses as well, like if Volta is chasing you with his force field thing up when he injects you, just hop on the zip line, you're safe, mate. Yeah. But the most interesting gameplay aspect is every other wave, this huge Kraken actually pops up right next to the bridge, smashing part of the bridge, and if you go near him, tentacles will like hit you and hurt you. He also pukes up like the bloat, like bile in your face. He has sonic attacks like a siren as well. It's really good. And there's also a floating health bar if you deal enough damage, and it is quite a lot of damage. It's about the entire ammo of the Varmint rifle, however much damage all that does. It's about that much that you need to do. Will kill it, well, force it to retreat, and this means that woman NPC I was talking about earlier, she now has some voice lines which are still awfully recorded. No offence to the map creator. And there's then this big circle appears. If you go in the circle, she throws you down a weapon, which is really good, although you can abuse it to sell infinite weapons, get infinite dosh, and then just have as many stuff as you like. But yeah, the map kind of suffers from the same thing as the western map, with it being too open, and the zipline doesn't help that, but apart from that, I would say it is top notch. On to the miscellaneous and glitches. I would say not really any miscellaneous really, but glitches I did encounter one when playing the map. One time when I did the zip line, it didn't trigger properly, I think because Voltar was doing the syringe attack on me as I did the zip line, so it kind of messed it up, and I was walking on air on like this invisible floor, which I assume is how the zip line works, and I could just stay up there for however long I like. Hey guys, so I know I said the next video wasn't going to be a gaming video, but you know, changed my mind about what I was working on. This one's a bit longer than my usual videos. I hope you guys like it. I don't think I'll make a whole series on this of like every custom map in Killing Floor 2, but you know, I might do a couple more every now and then. Took me quite a while to make this one because I had to record all the gameplay. I wrote a bit of a script for parts of it, although a lot of it is just ad-libbed. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week or sooner because of the Dark Souls videos, which come out a lot more frequently. But yeah, bye.